Hello guys, time for another one, and actually this is not the one I was intending to play. I was thinking of playing Chironea and continue with the Philip II's efforts, but then I started checking out the chronologically correct list of scenarios, and yeah, I found this one, of course, which actually is in between Crocus Plain and Chironea. So Crimissos River it will be today. It's thought well, this say 341 BC. I have seen other years noted for this battle. For instance, I think I'm seeing 339 BC, but anyway, it's before Chironea anyway, and we will go for this year, of course, and Crimissos River it is. So we'll let the Macedonians and Athenians and Thebans forge their war plans and return to them in the next video. So what do we have here then? Well, this is actually from the core game, the core game scenario booklet. So yeah, you see we have Roman blocks here, but these are Greeks, these are Syracusans, and well, we have a guy here named Timoleon. He's the Greek ruler of Syracuse at this point of time. He actually originates from Corinth. He was summoned to Sicily or to Syracuse some years before this battle because of some political unrest in Syracuse at this time. I mean, Dionysius the second, I think, or the younger, was the tyrant of Syracuse at this point of time before Timoleon arrived, and there was some unrest due to that. People were not too happy with him, at least not everyone. So there was another guy named Hicetus who he was a ruler of or actually a tyrant too, in a neighboring city. I think it was Leontini, and he so he actually attacked Syracuse, the city, and took it more or less, forcing Dionysius to retreat to an island that's actually part of the city. But the thing is that the people then asked their mother city. I mean, Syracuse was a colony formed by Corinth a long time ago, so they asked for help from their mother city to get some things straight in this struggle in Syracuse and civil wars that's raging at the city and the vicinity at this point of time. So Timoleon from Corinth was the guy elected to form up a force of a few hundred men and sail over to Sicily and bring order to the situation. And so he did. So he arrived, and he actually also started to I think he maintained a siege of the city at some point of time, and he did actually also invade. So at some point of time, I think there were 3 different rulers within the city holding different part of the city. So it was Timoleon, Hicetus, and Dionysius II holding a different part of the town. Anyway, Timoleon was victorious in the end, so he is the ruler at this point of time. But this is not a battle between Greeks. You see we have Carthaginians here. So basically the Carthaginians were approaching later on with a huge army. It was noted as 70,000 men, and the The reasons for their arrival at this point of time, I think, were several. One of them was that, well, Timoleon was kind of an aggressive guy. He did, and he didn't like the Syracusans, so he did some raids into Carthaginian territory on Sicily. So one reason for the Carthaginians to move up a big army here was to once and for all put this to an end, these raids to Carthaginian outposts and trading places. So that was one reason. I think the one other reason was actually that Hicetas, the guy who was thrown out from Syracuse, he pleaded for help from Carthage. So they also listened to his pleas and sent Hasdrubal over because of that. And the third one, of course, an obvious one. I mean, this is still in a time when the borders are fluctuating, so I think the Carthaginians saw an opportunity here to grab some more land and increase their influence over Sicily, more or less. So it was. The Hasdrubal came with 70,000 men, it said, and not only mercenaries, but there was a lot of citizen infantry from Carthago itself. So as you can see, they even sent their sacred band that they have formed, and the other heavy guy here is also I think depicting Carthaginian citizens. But the sacred band, well, it's a bit of a risk to send it abroad, as the history tells, but they did it at this point of time. It got more or less slaughtered here, so they, well, according to what it says in the scenario historical background here, I think it was here I read about it. Yeah. Sacred bands to the ground and annihilated by superior numbers. Well, it doesn't say, but yeah, here in the end, the loss of so many citizen soldiers had a horrific effect on Carthage. The sacred band was reformed, but only once was it ever dispatched from Africa again. So they were very reluctant to send these guys abroad again after this disaster that happened here. Anyway, Timoleon had a much smaller force in his disposal. I think there are different numbers, but I don't know how many, but I don't think there was even 10,000 men here. I don't know, but a few thousand men, some cavalry. The Carthaginians brought with them some cavalry, but as this is a special situation, we are not seeing the whole Carthaginian army here. But we're seeing some important troops like the heavy chariots here. This is the famous 4-horse-drawn chariots, and more Carthaginian citizens and more of these foreign troops in the back of the column here. This is a kind of a marching column because they are crossing the river here. So Timoleon with his inferior force was occupying these hills, basically checking out what the Carthaginians were doing. And at this day, when the battle occurred, there was a thick mist over these plains beneath the hills, probably emerging from the river. So they didn't really see what the Carthaginians were up to, but they did hear that there was something going on here. Big noise happening, and suddenly they hear sounds that for sure meant that they were crossing the river. So Timoleon waited for a bit, and the fog started to clear up, and when the Carthaginian troops slowly became visible, they saw that they were basically stuck up in two different parts here on a different side of the river. So that's where Timoleon thought this is a good time to attack, when they had not fully crossed the river yet. So in history he did actually launch his cavalry to attack the sacred band. Or at least that was his thought, because he wanted to get those guys before they could form a phalanx. But he was a bit hindered by these chariots, so the cavalry couldn't operate freely here. And then he launched his mostly Syracusans hoplites in the center here, depicted as heavy infantry in this scenario, and they crushed the Carthaginians. The sacred band fought, as said in the notes, more or less to the last man, and kind of a panic happened here on the Carthaginian side, and started to retreat over the river. And suddenly a big thunderstorm blew up, as if making things even worse for the Carthaginians, because it was blowing in their face. It was rain and even hail. This battle was fought in June 341, but still there could be some cold weather apparently happening. So they got hail in their face. The river Crimissos, it swelled, and it was more and more difficult to cross it. And even some guys drowned here while retreating. Others got caught by the Greeks and slaughtered. So this was a real disaster for the Carthaginians, who lost this battle, of course, and maybe more importantly, they lost their sacred band. So there were many thousand dead here on the Carthaginian side after this battle, and a big victory for the aggressive Timoleon. So I think that's enough of info around this battle. So as we see this scenario, Timoleon has already descended the hills here. So the battle is just to begin when we jump into the action here. So let's check the War Council. So we have, as you can see, 5 command cards on each side. The Greeks will move first, and their leader is of course Timoleon, but they also have another guy with them, Mamercus, and Hasdrubal is the leader on the Carthaginian side, and he's actually the only leader in that army in this scenario. And then we will fight till 5 banners. And special rules: the Crimissos river is fordable only at the 5 bends in the river. So we have 5 bends and 1 down here. And that's the only place where the Carthaginians, or indeed the Greeks, can move over the river. The sacred band is a special unit, and if you have watched my previous videos when we have seen the Thebans, this is basically the same rule as for their sacred band. So they hit with the leader symbol even if no leader are adjacent or attached, and they can always ignore a flag. So basically the same as the Theban sacred band, or not basically, they are the same as the Theban sacred band. And yeah, let's look at the board. So here we are. So a quick review of the forces here. So the Syracusans have that cavalry who were aiming to attack these sacred band before they could form the phalanx. But of course in this game we have no formation rules, so these guys are deadly even if they are on the march or not. So we'll probably not see an assault here. And then we have some auxiliaries. So these guys are probably some mercenaries or other allied to Syracuse here. Then we have 3 units of hoplites. We have Timoleon here with the left hand side hoplite unit, or heavy infantry. It's 4 infantry. And then we have Mamercus over here. And after these 4 hoplites we have some more auxiliaries, and at the far right end we have some slingers actually, and some light infantry. For the Carthaginians, well, if we divide their army into 2 parts, depending on which side of the river they are. We can start here. Those guys who have crossed already, we have these deadly chariots there, well beyond striking range of any enemy yet, but this could be a valuable guy. But as we know, they only have 2 blocks, so they are pretty fragile too. Then we have the Sacred Band and another citizen infantry unit from Carthago. So, and those guys are joined by Hasdrubal as well. So here's a dangerous combo here. And then we have some lights backing them up. Over here, just on the river banks here, we see 2 auxiliary units. Then on the other side of the river, probably the more of the mercenary part of the Carthaginian army here, we have some slingers who have marched up to the other river bank here, close to the points where they could get through the river. And just behind them we have some medium heavy infantry, we have light infantry, we have some war bands, more medium heavy, more war bands, and over here medium heavy cavalry too. So that's it. So in numbers the Carthaginians are well, they have more units in the scenario for sure, but quality wise the Greeks are a bit better, but I mean not that much. The big advantage is that they are all the guys on this side of the river, and so as long as that is true, they have the numerical superiority over here. So for some war or battle plans, well, for the Syracusans, I mean, we need to act quickly. I guess we need to quickly get there and kill off as many units as we can, and make sure they cannot retreat back, or make sure they cannot be reinforced for the other side. So we need to send some guys towards the river to block the crossing, and we need to send some of the heavier guys towards the guys who have already crossed and try to battle them and kill them and get the banners by that. And for the Carthaginian side, well, of course, good would be if we could consolidate that line, maybe even draw it a bit nearer to the river so we can get them attached with the other force here, and then as soon as possible start crossing the river, because if we can do that, then we can match the Syracusan army in a battle, and we could for sure beat them if we just can get some reinforcement over here. We have tough troops here, apart from the guys who are already across the river. We have these heavies, and we have, or medium heavies, and we have the warriors, and even the cavalry there. So it depends on who manages best in timing, and that of course also boils down to what cards you will get in your hand. And as I said, the Syracusans will start the game, so let's start with a look at the Syracusan hand and start off the game. Okay, so here we have the Syracusan hand. And by the way, we could just mention about this river. So the straight ones are impossible. This forge here, just to recap the rules, if you move on to these guys or these hexes, you need to stop. And if you battle in or out in close combat, it's 2 dice maximum, plus any cards. That adds dice. And then if you fire out from these hexes doing range combat, then it's only 1 die. And of course, range combat into has no penalty. So that's the rules for the rivers with crossings. So here we go. Medium troops, we don't have many of those here on the Greek side, only that cavalry. We have a mounted charge actually, so we why do these cards always tempt me with these mounted charge. I mean, if I could do it right now and get 4 dice against the Sacred Band, and that would be awesome to kill off some of those guys, to be honest. Then we have 2 here. We could start moving up some lighter troops to start the hinder of the blocking action of the river. That could be nice. We have 2 of those cards actually, and then we have a line command, and I think maybe that could be even better because we can start moving up the whole line, including those lights. Yeah. And we could even conduct some ranged combat here using this. So I will start with the line command here. I'll wait with the cavalry a bit. Like that. So, line command it is. So it will be all of these guys. Like that. And I have to remember we can only move 1 hex. So we do that. I was thinking, is it really necessary to put something here? I mean, the Carthaginian cavalry could use these ford down here maybe. But I mean, if they start moving downwards, we can move back some troops to hinder them, I'm sure of that. So I think we can just move out all these guys right now. Then we have these slingers. These guys could actually also fire. Let's put them down like that, so remember we only fire with 1 die. Then we have these guys slowly marching towards the enemy. Here. Here, and here we have Timoleon. And here we have another guy who can fire actually. Okay, so we have 3. I'm just going to check that I can do ranged fire, close combat, yes. So it's okay. So I will put... I'll start here actually. I'll throw the 1 die over here at that auxiliary. We can hit them. It's not the question who should we fire against with those slingers. I don't have many. I mean, those guys are supported, so a flag there wouldn't matter. So I will actually fire the same guy here with the slingers. That's a miss also. And then we have 1 more, and it's these guys against the Sacred Band. That's a leader symbol, so it's a miss. And that's it. The phalanxes are moving forward, keeping the line all the way with the lights and support troops as well here. Looking good. Okay. So here's the Carthaginian response. What do they have? They have a first strike. Okay, interesting. Let's put it on the table. But that will count as a card here. We've got to remember that. And we've got to remember this is a Carthaginian card now. We have 3 in the center. That's okay. We have 2 more in the center. We have medium troops. The thing is, we could start moving over troops on the river with this card. And then we have lots of guys in the center. We don't have anything to respond on our right hand side. I mean, we could already do some chariot charge and so forth, but we cannot. We don't have the cards for it. So either it's center or it's a medium troops. And I think I'll go with the medium troops because then I can start moving guys towards the center, and then I can, at least the next turn, also activate that guy on the river with a center card. So let's put the medium troops into play. And we can order 5 of them, and 5 is what we have, including that cavalry. So these guys will start moving up here on the river, followed by the next medium heavy infantry. These guys will start moving towards the next river crossing. So do these. And the cavalry. Well, I think I'll try to implement the plan with doing a flank march here and try to get in the rear of the Greeks. At least we can distract them and start, maybe they need to weaken the line by drawing something down here. So 1, 2 and 3. And there's no combat. I'm pretty happy in how we managed to close in on those crossing points there. So now it's the Greeks again. Okay, heavy troops. I think I'm gonna wait a bit more with that. We could, maybe not. I could actually get in 3 heavies to battle with that card. Or we start firing at those guys crossing. I think I wait with a mounted charge still. That includes this one, which is our cavalry card. I will roll for this choice of card. Either I go for the heavies and start the attack now by attacking his sacred band and his auxiliaries, or I go a bit more cautious and move up 2 units here and fire. So it's 1 to 3, 4 to 6. Okay, we go with a Timoleon aggressive thing. So it's the heavies, and we have 1, 2, 3 and 4 of them, right? So I'm just gonna move up these guys now. Now it's time to attack them big time. I move these guys 2. These guys move here, so that this will be like a 2 different task forces here. These guys cannot attack this turn. And since we have the first strike now, I want to roll for where I started battles. If I roll 1 to 3, I will start with the Timoleon. If I roll 4 to 6, I'll start with the Mamercus battle group. Okay, we start with Mamercus, and I will start with a guy that's not. No, we should take these guys because we can. If we get those guys, we can continue our attacks with a bonus attack. So I'll start with these guys, and now let's see if the Carthaginian will play the first strike. So if I roll any result that will have any effect on these Greeks, then I will play it. So basically it's red or swords or even a flag. Even though those guys, well, they can actually ignore that flag, so maybe, well, let's see. If I get the flag, I will not play it because they can ignore it. I got the green, so they will not play the first strike here because that's not a hit on these guys. So they will attack now. It's 5 dice, and we have the leader with us. So we got 3 hits. It's not enough to kill them, so we cannot use our bonus combat here. And luckily for the Carthaginians, they stand their ground, so they can actually battle back now. But of course they will now be killed in the next combat. Maybe that's bad, but we can hurt Mamercus. So we got actually 2 hits on those heavies. That was better than I thought, actually. And we also need to check the fate of Mamercus here. Well, he's barely fine. He's in the middle of action, as you can see, but he survived. But now we have the second attack coming in, And maybe the Carthaginian opt to play the first strike now instead. Well, now they did actually, because this is a hit. So he will take his chance to bite back here before he goes down. Let's see. So he got actually 2 hits here too, and a flag which he can ignore because he is supported. But I mean, 2 hits here, that's very, very valuable for the Carthaginian to get these hits on the heavy Syracusans. So that was the first strike. Put that back to the discard deck. And now the Syracusans can finish that auxiliary off. Yep, they got 2 hits on him, so he's gone, and we got the first Greek banner. But I mean, okay, that's a victory banner, but that had a really high cost. I mean, both these units are down to 2 blocks now by that stubborn resistance of those Carthaginians there. Impressive. So that was it, I believe. Yeah, it was. So what we're gonna do now is to first give the Carthaginians a new card, because they played the first strike, and then the Syracusans. And no, sorry, we have another battle. Almost forgot. We have Timoleon attacking the Sacred Band, so this is a pretty epic battle happening here. It's 5 dice, and oh my god, we got 4 hits, is that true? Yes, it is. It's 4 hits and the Sacred Band is wiped out. Can you believe it? They even didn't get the chance to hit back here. Oh my, that was a blow. Second banner for the Syracusans, and Timoleon could march and attack again, and he will do that. He will now challenge Hasdrubal right away. A bit of a bold movement here, but Timoleon is a known aggressive guy, so he goes right in there and attacks again. And wow, those guys are so deadly. So these guys goes down right away. I mean, they don't have a chance to hit back either. We got the 3rd banner by this. This is crazy. And we need to check what happens with Hasdrubal. Well, he survived, so he will now retreat back there. This means he could join either of those guys if he can move in the next turn. Okay, and these guys could actually advance again if they want to. The thing is, they could block my retreat pass now. Heck, I will go there. I mean, they can get my retreat path, but they could get it from the last hex as well. I mean, from this side, I'm a threat to Hasdrubal as well, so I threaten those, and they basically need to move him away again, or I could attack him. Okay, fantastic attack by Timoleon there. I mean, he basically plowed through 2 of the Carthaginian citizen phalanxes, and one of them were the, I mean, hardest guys on Sicily probably at this point of time, the Sacred Band, so this was impressive. Okay, so, but we have the Carthaginians now who can fight back, and well, that was a big punch, but they have some hope. They have seen these guys go down here on the other flank, right? So if they could hit Mamercus again, then we could gain some banners too. Let's see. So we have these center cards, we know of those. They are not too helpful for us now. Then we have a line command, and then we have a order light. And I think we need to go with a... do we? Bad thing is, I cannot move Hasdrubal this turn. So he's a sitting duck down there. What could we do with the light troops? We could do some ranged combat. We could go in and attack with the other auxiliary somewhere. And we could pour in some fire here. We could enter that river perhaps. If we had a line command, we could get all this big cluster into action. We could get the mediums up here attacking. Too bad the warriors cannot attack because they need to stop on these rivers. Otherwise they could move too, you know, and attack these guys down here. But it's not possible right now. But I'm really dependent on getting those guys over, so I will go for the line command, I guess. Should we play? I mean, we could get the banner with this order light. And we could put ourselves in between Hasdrubal and Timoleon here with that light to protect him. So I see we have two good cards. So let's roll then. I don't think I want to play any of these. Well, this could also be an interesting one, to be honest. This could be enough. Yeah, so I will... Yeah, this is a good card too, actually. So I will roll 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, and see what happens. It's a 2, so it means we play the 3-unit center. Maybe that's not too bad, because we can order those guys with that, right? So I will now place my lights in between here to hinder those guys to get Hasdrubal. And I mean, we can evade if the Timoleon's guys attack here. And over here I will march down here. I will strike back now. Like that. So I'm hoping actually to get these guys now. So those guys will not attack, that would be crazy. So, but down here we will of course attack. And we start with the medium heavies against these phalanx. It's 4 dice. Too bad we don't have any leaders. So we need to get red ones, right? So we missed them totally. That was not good. That was awful, an awful roll. So, well, that could be the end of it, because now they will hit back and they are adjacent to a leader. So let's see, 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, and a flag. So we need to take 3 blocks away and then retreat. Let's retreat back here. That was bad. Bad luck for the Carthaginians. The other attack, we will continue with that too. We will do it. So it's 3 dice, and I will attack Mamercos here. Let's hope for 2 hits, please. Oh, we got 1 hit. But that means at least we need to check the fate of Mamercos. He's fine, so he will now hit back with his force, and that's 5 dice. So 1, 2, and 3 hits. So those guys are also down to 1 now. And one can begin to see how this will end now. Yeah. I have a feeling this will be a shorter scenario than I anticipated. Anyway, That was a Carthaginian turn. They have really bad luck with the rolls here, and Timoleon was really lucky up here, but it's not over yet. Let's see, it's the Greeks. Mounted charge. We have no one to reach with this card. We have outflanked. Well, I don't know. I mean, we could end the game here if we would have the card for it, but we don't have any cards in the center. It's crazy. And we don't have any heavies. We have mounted. We cannot do it with this card. Not with these guys. Yeah, this is a kind of crazy. So what could we achieve with the outflanked? I mean, we could end the game with this card. We could put Timoleon there, attack that chariot. I'm not sure if those guys can evade. Probably they can. I need to check that up before I do it. And then we could start moving up the second cavalry, or the Greek cavalry unit here, and they could the next turn perhaps do the mounted charge. And on this flank we could just put some fire on these one block units and hope we get them. At least one of them. But the bad thing is we cannot do anything in the center, and that's bad because this also means that we are weakened down here, and they could do some desperate attacks to get those guys out and get the banners. But on the other hand, we are 2 from victory, so we can take some chances here. So let's play the outflanked. That will be the cavalry, and it will be Timoleon's now famous phalanx. And over here we have 2 units, those guys, and I will move up these guys to come into firing range of the guys on the other side of the river. And then here I'll move Timoleon sideways, and these guys will move 1, 2, and 3. They cannot attack. So before I start the battles here, let me just check how the evade works with chariots. Okay, here we go. Heavy chariots and evade may against foot and elephants. Okay, so that's okay. So they can evade that attack. They will do that. So they will actually now attach with Hasdrubal. But of course, before we do that, we're gonna roll. But they want to evade. So we roll these 5 dice, and if we get 2 reds, we get them before they can evade. We got 1, so they're down to 1 block. So they are down there. These guys cannot advance because the Carthaginians did evade, so they stay there. Over here we will do some ranged fire, so we put a 1 die attack over the river against... Let's attack those warriors coming there, so we can get... If we can get 1 block down from them, they lose their special ability to ignore 1 flag and that extra die in combat. But that was a miss. And then we have some slingers who could attack, and let's put the attack on the medium heavy infantry up here. So we got 2 dice because those slingers haven't moved, and we get both dice on the river. So a blue would be nice. Nope, we got the flag, so those guys actually are able, or they might have to actually retreat 1 more step. And maybe they are happy about that. So, okay, not 100% happy with that, but we now have troops in a good position to to perhaps end the fight in the next turn already. But before that, we need to check what the Carthaginians do. Okay, they have 2 line commands now, and center and the light. This means we still cannot order those guys out here. Well, we could do that with a light. Crazy. We could also get a banner with, with starting moving with the lights. We could attack here, hope for 1 hit. We could even get Mamercus by that, with a bit of luck. So, again, I will roll. 1 to 3, it's a line command. 4 to 6, we play the lights. Okay, it's the lights, we got a 6. So I will I'll move back 1 and fire against Timoleon. These guys, I will activate those guys and those guys. So let's put some fire from here and also from here. My desperate hope here is these guys could kill those, and with a bit of luck we could hit by rolling 2 reds even those guys, but that's a really, really long shot. But I want to get some nice banners here at least. So let's start here. It's 1 die against Timoleon. We hope for a red. Nope, it was a miss. Then we got these guys cannot reach its lights. It's not slingers. But let's put the 1 die over here then. That's a flag, and he needs to take that. That's interesting. So they need to go back here. And then we got the slingers. They will attack these guys with 1 die. That's a miss. And then we got this desperate attack from here to here. But I mean, it's desperate, but it's fully possible that we get that heavy phalanx now. And we did it. We rolled a red. Can you believe it? We got the first Carthaginian banner. Hurrah! So it's 3 to 1 now. And we also need to check the lead loss check. He's fine, so he can now retreat, and he will go back here. And we could advance if we want to, but we don't want to do that. Let's stay there. I think that was it. Well, it doesn't look too bright for the Carthaginians, of course. The Syracusans need to gain 2 banners and then it's over. We have a rally, but we don't have leaders adjacent to the units. I mean, this one would have been nice for the Carthaginians to get, but I will not play that because I don't have any guys that I could rally actually. Medium troops, well, that's a cavalry, could have mounted charge. Maybe not. We don't have 2 good cards to end the battle. That's an issue here actually. So what if I do the mounted charge? I would get 4 dice with that. I could get the chariot, and I could also get an attack there, but I could not win the battle with this card, that's for sure. But let's play this card anyway. Yeah, I get that extra in the bonus combat. So I will do a cavalry charge now. It's 1, 2, and 3, and I will attack his chariots now. It's 4 dice, thanks to the card, and we got the needed hit. Those guys are done. We get the 4th banner, and we need to check if Hasdrubal is still alive after this charge. He is, so he will now actually retreat out from the game board. So he's out of play, but they don't get the banner for this. So I could momentum advance, go 1 more and attack again. I will do that, but these guys will of course evade if they can. I will not roll 4 dice, and if I roll 4 green, then it's over. But that's not too likely, right? But I hope I get 1. No, all misses here. They go here, and I will actually follow. No, I cannot because they evaded. Too bad. All right, so we still need 1 banner. We didn't get it this turn, but I hope we can get it maybe next turn. Carthaginians. Another line command. No, I think I had those 2 last time already. Let's see, we have 4 on the right. Okay, now when we don't have any troops left more or less there, then we get the card over here, right? That's just crazy. Okay, then we have the 2 lines, and then we have 2 in the center. And I will go for the line now, I think. My last hope is to get... Or if I play the center, I could run away with my auxiliaries, save them to fight another day, or at least hide. But I mean, the cavalry can get them everywhere. If I go there, the cavalry can get them. So there's no hope for those guys. So I will actually go with a line command now and activate the whole bunch here. These guys will just go back. These guys go here. They can attack with 2 dice. So I can advance here. Advance here. They can fire. These guys advance, and these guys advance. A last effort to get over the river here. And let's see. Let's start. Let's start with the slingers. It's 1 die, and we will need a red. We got it. Wow. So, of course, we also throw the javelins over here then. If we get another red, that's a banner. Ah, that was a green, so they missed. Too bad. We almost got those guys. That was a line command with the Carthaginians. And now let's see if the Greeks can end the battle. All right, they don't have 2 good cards. I mean, again, loads of troops on the right hand side. We only have very light troops there. Rally, nope. Medium troops, yes, okay, we could try to get those guys with that card. I think we can do that because if we roll some flags, they start losing blocks really soon. So let's do that. Let's see if we can end the battle with that card. It's a blue one. It will be the cavalry who goes there and attacks. So it's 3 dice, and we hope for some flags actually now. And that was a good roll because those guys cannot retreat even one hex. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4 hexes they need to retreat. And that's 4 blocks they lose, so they are eliminated. They flee the battle, and the Greeks, the Syracusans, get their 5th banner. So it's 5-1, and basically this looks a bit like what happened in history, I guess. The Greeks just dominating here, causing panic, and the Carthaginians are desperately trying to get over the troops. They really don't manage with it. They get a foothold, get pushed back or hit hard, like that medium heavy infantry. They had the chance when they did the first, the first river crossing here. We had a good chance to attack those weakened phalanxes here, but they failed with those attacks with some bad rolls. So the Greeks got the time to regroup and counterattack, and by that it was more or less lost. And of course Timoleon's 2 successful attacks here, getting the sacred band and the other heavy infantry, wow, that was decisive, of course. So Timoleon is the really hero here, together with his heavy Syracusan phalanx here. And what else? Well, I don't know. Tough one for the Carthaginians. I thought they could put up some more resistance and drag out the battle, but so this really end up in a more short battle than I thought. And well, I don't know, not much to say. They also, I mean, the Carthaginian heroes in this battle are for sure the 2 auxiliary units here. Remember, the first one really fight hard against the phalanxes here. It brought down 2 of the heavies to 2 block each here, and that was really an effort by that Auxilia, who's now dead, but the other one has also fought well. They killed off some guys here and putting up some resistance. That was the only hope, to have some kind of a bridgehead here and foothold on this hand of the river, but it wasn't enough. These guys couldn't really push over, and too much was happening out here. I mean, look at where's the Carthaginians? They are eliminated totally from this side of the board. Alright, so that's that. Short and, well, kind of final battle, even though it was a very one-sided story in the end, but there was some cool things happening. Again, I really like those auxiliaries there and their effort. So, thanks for watching, and next time we will be back with Philip II and his big battle against the Thebans, Athenians, and I think we will see some Corinthians as well in those lines. Again, we have seen Timoleon the Corinthian now, and more Corinthians to go to battle in the next video. Thanks for watching, and see you again. Bye bye.